top 40, hip hop, mainstream, funk, soul, breaks, rock, all the way to down and dirty electronic dance music, which is now known as EDM. As if we need another acronym. But anyway, so like drum and bass, electro, trap, glitch hop, breaks as well, electronic breaks, and pretty much like everything under the realm of electronic music. I love techno. I started out as a house and techno DJ, and also a turntablist, so two totally different spectrums, and I started in hip hop as well. So I scratch and do tricks and juggle. And at the same time I was really into the rave scene, so I was really into dance music, and so I just kind of merged those two together. I started out as a drummer. I've been playing drums since I was 7, and I met my now husband in college, and he was a DJ, and I was like, look, that's so easy, anyone can do that. I play a real instrument, I play the drums, I read music. And then I saw him scratching for the first time, and it completely blew my mind, because it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Like, I've never seen anyone do rhythms like that on the turntable, much less use it as an instrument, and I was immediately sucked in, and that was 20 years ago, and he was like, I'll teach you, and it kind of worked, and we're married. So, yeah. But yeah, so basically I've been doing this a very long time. I've seen the scene shift a lot, and die and come back, and now it is extremely mainstream, which is interesting, and I feel like a lot of the culture is now being lost. I don't know if you guys are feeling that too, but the artistry and the culture of DJing. I still use turntables, and the kids that come out now, they're like, whoa, what is that? That's a huge CD. But I do play on CDJs as well. But I scratch and I do tricks, so that's why I prefer turntables still. And I do mix myself, I beat match myself. There's no sync button that I use or anything like that. So I'm all about promoting the artistry and the culture. I've also been teaching DJing for 15 years. I have a DVD series. I've taught for the Grammy Foundation. I've taught online classes, Turntable U. I've taught for Dubspot, Scratch DJ Academy, and I just recently wrote a book called Spin Now, the DJ Starter Handbook. So I saw it on Hal Leonard Publishing, and it comes with a DVD too. So it has all these exercises if you want to learn the DJ. But right now, I kind of want to figure out a little bit about you guys so I can gear my workshop properly towards you. So how many DJs are in the room? One up there, right? Okay, and how many wannabe DJs are in the room? No one wants to. Oh, yeah. Right. Okay, and how many DJs use turntables still in this room? Okay, nice. And how many DJs use CDJs? Okay. And how many use software when you DJ? Okay. How many use Serato when you DJ? How many use Tractor? Okay. How many use both? Okay. And how many of you are familiar with Rane's mixers and products? Okay. How many DJ with Rane products? Okay. I gotta gauge here. Now we don't have a projector, unfortunately, so I'm gonna turn my laptop around and do some things just so you can see, but I'm just gonna do, based on that feedback, I'm gonna do a general workshop where I just explain how many people know the 62 inside and out, this mixer? Nobody. Okay, you know it inside and out, you know every single feature.
Maybe not as much as
okay, no, that's great. Okay, so I will go over the features of the 62. And how many know Serato inside and out, Scratch Live? Okay, so I'll go over some features with that. And then how many people scratch in here, do tricks? Yes. Okay, so we'll do this little scratch workshop too. And I'm also going to, so we were supposed to do a panel on how to put together sets, DJ sets, so since we didn't do that panel, I'll go over a little bit about how I put together my sets for various genres too, because it's different for each one. But okay, so first off, the 62 mixer is a 2-channel mixer by Rane, and it actually has the analog to digital converter, the Serato box is in the mixer. So you can control the software using the mixer, which is really dope. And it also has a lot of effects and stuff like that. So just to go through, it's got all your standard stuff. And for turntable is the curves, it's the same Rane fader, so it's like really dope. As far as the quality of the mixer, the preamp is really, really good in this mixer, as in all our mixers. So the sound quality is always solid. And then basically you got your cue points here with these buttons. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm pointing at, but there's buttons right here, they're glowing. And so you can set cue points, you know, trigger. And then with those same buttons, you can also trigger samples. So in the software, turning around the laptop here. That sounds really close.
It is. It's right next door, yeah.
Okay, that was important. So, if you see the audio, you know, your sound waves are here, this is this interface, and you can switch, you know, up here, you can switch the viewpoint, you know, however you'd like to see it, and I just go with the original interface, which is like that, but I'm going to do it like this because it's a little bigger, so you can maybe see. So there's some cue points here that I've set up. You can either set them up on just by clicking a button here. One there, click it, and now there's a cue point. Oh, and it's in chronological order, so that's why when I clicked it, it played a different one. So there's the one we just set, and they're all right here. So you can trigger them, you can use them for routines and turntable stuff, or you can just use them as visual cues, which I use them both ways. And also what I do, which I think is a really good trick, is to put a cue point at the beginning of every song. How many people do that already? Okay, do that because, and then in the settings, in the setup, you can have it set to start at first cue point. That way when you map the song, it's always going to start your first cue point rather than starting at the very beginning of the song, which speeds up your process a lot. So if I map this song right now into a folder of music, so I map it and it's right at the first cue point. That happens to be at the beginning of the song. But sometimes I like to start it way later, and I'll show when I'm going through how I put together my sets. I'm a puzzle maker. Like I put them like pieces of a puzzle. So I might only play like a tiny sliver of something. So that's when that's really handy. So you can trigger the cue points, but you can also use these same buttons to trigger samples. So there's a sample doohickey in here, that's the technical term. And so what you do is this orange button, you click it and now it's red, and now you have your sample banks, and there's 4 sample banks, so you can have up to, there's 6 samples in each bank, so 4 times 6, you can have that many. And then, so you trigger your samples here. You know, so they're multifunctional buttons, which is, how many people used to use the 57? This is a mixer prior to this one, right? So then you had, wow, I just got really loud, sorry. Then it was like the same buttons, and then it was confusing because you couldn't see where you were, but now it's like all laid out and it's really clear. So that's one of the reasons why I love this mixer. Also, you got 5 on this side, 5 on this side. So you don't have to worry about, oh, am I triggering the wrong side? So that's great. Another cool thing about this mixer is let me get back to the cue points, the effects that are in the mixer. So the software has effects, tons of effects in the software, which is great. But the effects on the mixer, which are totally controllable here, you have your little interface right here, and let's get a scratch record on. How many people scratch with effects? Nobody. Okay, yes, cool. Because I can show you some cool tricks with that. All right, so with this mixer, I can go back and forth between. Yes, I still play actual records too. So I can go back and forth, so you can change the setting to phono or line for that, or you can plug in CDs, you know. And another cool thing about this mixer is that it has 2 USBs, so you can plug in 2 laptops, which is pretty swanky, and makes it really cool for switching over in your DJ sets to another person, or you can play tag team with 2 laptops. But okay, so we have these effects here, and that's what it sounds like when you don't change it to phono. So that's a bad sound. So I got my ah sound, and I'll just show you a few effects. We have the echo, and right here you can control the depth, and you just turn it on here. You can tap the tempo, or if you're using Scratch Live, it'll automatically read the tempo, so of whatever song is playing out in the main, or even if it's both, and it'll read the tempo, so you don't have to tap it out, which it makes things really much faster. But for this exercise, so you trigger it with the flex effects button. So you can leave it on if you want, but so I scratch a little bit and then I'll trigger an effect. So here's an example. this mic, but I helps with the when I'm speaking over the music. Okay, so another cool effect on this mixer is they each have a filter knob, which I love. Alan and Heath made a mixer that had, they were one of the first ones to use that filter knob, but it's just really great as far as like mixing and scratching too, but mixing because it makes it so much smoother, so you can, I echo out a lot of my mixes when I'm mixing, and then also with the high-low pass filter, so I'll give you an example of that. Okay, you know, standard high-low pass. But with the effects and stuff, you know, you can combine them. So that's really cool. So they have the filter and the effects, and then they have another filter for each channel, which is dope because then you can combine them, and that's a lot of fun. There's, as far as the outs, it's just pretty self-explanatory. XLR outs, they got the XLR mic finally. They had a 1/4-inch mic for a while, which was strange. You can set loops, you can do all sorts of stuff, all the same stuff that you can do in Serato on Word, you can do here. It also has the loop rolls, so you don't need the dicers. How many people use the dicers in here? Okay, so you don't need that big thing. So we got. So right here, I don't know if you can see the screen, but it's looping, and you hear it, right? And you can change the amount, so like this.
So that's the basics of the, any questions about the mixer? And as far as the software goes, just the basics of Serato and Serato DJ is the same. They have, you know, your waves play up here, you got your cue points, you got your sample player if you want it, there's the DJ effects here where you can do all sorts of different effects. You can record your set if you want. Right here you have the files, so that's where you drag your files in where they're stored. You have a history, which is cool, so if you're improvising out at the club and you're like, damn, what I just did was amazing, I want to record that, you got your history right there so you can check that out afterwards and know exactly what you played. And you can get rid of this and make more room for your tracks here. Here is the crates. You can tell Serato came from real DJ roots because they call them crates and not folders. So they're all here, and you can organize them however you want. I make crates just for sets. I make crates for genres. You know, just whatever works for you. And then here's where all the music is shown in each crate. And then up here you can sort it by artist, So, like in the all library, I'm sorry, the all folder right here, you can sort anything, but this is all the music in my computer right now. I can sort by song, BPM, which is very helpful, key. How many people use mixing key in here? That's very sad. You guys need mixing key. How many people mix in key? Oh gosh. Okay, good. Yeah, mixed in key. It's a very affordable program, and it will make your DJ set so much better because you can. Because for a long time, like I'm a musician, so I know if it's in key or not. But you gotta like mix them together to see if they're in key. Whereas mixing key, it keys them all for you, and it uses this code with a number and a letter, and then that way you can tell if you're close to if each song is close to that number and letter, you know it's already going to be in key and will mix, which is very helpful. And you can sort your whole library by key and just mix it all, you know, all the ones in the same key, which makes it helpful. You got your comments section, which is gold to me. That's my favorite part of this program, and it's the most simple. You can group them in how genres or however. There's blank ones that you can use for whatever. You can sort by how you added it, the file name. Then there's all these different things here that you can choose to show or not. So when let's get to my set for tonight. How many people are coming out tonight? Every hand better be raising. Sweet. Okay. So this is my set for tonight. So basically, you know, I minimize what I want, and then so I'll take out. Let's see, you can get rid of. Click here, and you get rid of the check mark by added or file name. I don't want file name. I'll just get rid of that. So I don't really need grouping, but so here's a set for tonight, and you get a location. If you're like, damn, where did I store that track? You can just read it on here, which always happens to me. It's very helpful. Grouping, get rid of that. Okay, so this is a set that I prepared, but if I'm playing like, how many people in here play top 40 hip hop at all? Okay, so you know you can't really plan those sets. I mean, you can to the best of your ability, but they're just, you have to go with the crowd, like completely, you know that. So what I will do for example, how I would put together a set for top 40, I do things, group and things in folders by genre and stuff, but then what I do is I make one massive set in a BPM range, and then I just keep adding the new tunes in there, or I'll make groupings of 3 tracks that go well together and make little groups like that. And I used to just stick to the 3-track thing, but then I found that, you know, if they're really feeling it, and you know, if it's a long night, sometimes it's like 6 hours you play top 40 gig, or I played a 9-hour gig once. That was crazy. But so I started doing these massive sets, and then I can get out and deviate. I can, if someone requests something, I can pop it in. But I can like pick sections of the set, and so that helps me a lot. And so with top 40, also another thing that helps me a lot, hip hop, that is different than what I do. I do it with electronic music also, but not as much. But let's see, so I got my, I don't even know why I'm pulling this up because you can't see it. But there's the comment section here, and I use that a ton. So when I was just playing records, what I would do is I get those little round stickers, and I put the sticker here, first of all, to mark the beginning of the song. So I put a sticker because this marks where my scratch sounds are so I can see. But I would put a round sticker there, and then I'd write on that sticker like crazy. And I'd write notes to myself. I'd write how long is the intro. So I put I equals 4, which means 4 bars. Or if it's 4 beats, I put BTS. I made this whole code. So I got intro is I, and then I do the chorus. The chorus is 8 bars, so I write that on there. And I do the outro, because that's the only important thing. You're never going to mix over the verse, right? So those are the only important things I need to know. And then when I pull out that record 10 years later, I know intro, chorus, outro. It's super helpful. It makes it so much faster. Some people used to have big, I don't know if you guys know who teacher is, but he had big stickers, big masking tape, and he would write all that information on it. And so he would, like, when